Right, welcome back, everybody. So this is the time we get into the interactive part of the show, and the question of the day this morning, and it all has to do with us going back to church. What is your reaction to the decision to allow religious gatherings of no more than 50 people when the country enters level 3 of the lockdown? This is already getting an interesting response. Sakina at Morning Live, SABC, that's where you can write to us.
Yes, Leanne, and obviously, we want to hear what your views are because, again, many people concerned about the demographic of people who will be attending these gatherings and saying that perhaps these are the people most at risk. But what are your views? I know someone here said they're going to confiscate their mother's keys and money so they can't go to church.
I know.
They shall remain nameless.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's some worry out there.
There's great worry.
Yeah, I know. But I can read that from some of the tweets as well. There's some people that are happy though, saying, finally we can go back, and that's where we find our solace, and it's our sanctity, and it's our place of worship where we can actually feel, the presence of God there. However, this is it's still not immune to the realities of coronavirus. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people have to say about it.
Absolutely. At Morning Live SABC, let us know what your views are.
Moving on to our stories of the day now. The National Coronavirus Command Council is expected to give a briefing in which it'll unpack regulations that'll be in place when the country moves to level 3 of the national lockdown from the 1st of June. This was scheduled for yesterday, moved to today. So let's just hope it stays today and we get to hear a little bit more about this.
And of course, just to recap on those numbers, the number of positive cases in South Africa now stands at 24,264. Yesterday, we saw 43 more deaths, and that brings the death toll to 524. There have been 12,741 recoveries, and the total number of active cases now at 10,999.
Here are those numbers for you to call if you need any help. 0800 029 999. That's for information on coronavirus. 24-hour hotline. 0600 123 456 is the WhatsApp number.
Right, looking at the provincial breakdown to those COVID-19 statistics in South Africa, the Western Cape leading there with 15,829 positive cases. Gauteng is at 3,043. KwaZulu-Natal, 1,927. The Eastern Cape, 2,864. The Free State has 206 cases. Limpopo, 132. There are 103 positive cases in Mpumalanga, 115 in the Northwest Province, and 45 in the Northern Cape.
All right, tests conducted to date, so we've gone over that 500,000 mark by far now, 605,991. But I don't know if you noticed yesterday there was quite a substantial drop in the amount of tests that were done. We've been at least in sort of like, the tens of thousands. Now I can see we're dropping, and it was said in the release last night that came out saying that tests are now again a big issue to get your hands on. So the shortage of coronavirus tests have become a problem and a reality again here. So confirmed cases, 24,246. Recoveries, 12,741. Deaths, that number growing, 524. And active cases in South Africa as we speak right now, 10,999. The global picture, gosh, I just paused there for a sec, sorry. The global picture confirmed, 5.5 million is where we're at right now. Yesterday alone, that figure going up by 100,000 cases. Recoveries, 2.2 million. And the death rate so far, 350,000 deaths globally. That's up almost 4,500 on the number we gave you yesterday.
Right, and taking us now to our trending topics. And first up, church is essential, Leanne. And this, of course, everything to do with the president's announcement last night that people will be allowed to return to places of worship for religious practices. And many people very, very happy about that particular announcement. And but some people's view, for example, someone saying on Twitter, Sia saying, our mistake is thinking that God is at church when he's actually in you.
I like that one, actually. absolutely. That jumped out at me too. But a couple more. Meeting your maker just got a new meaning. That's Max Dupree tweeting here. Koshik saying, well, you're going to meet God quicker than you expected. That's another one that's coming through here. And then just, of course, funny memes doing the rounds as well of these pastors and, what happens and stories we've reported on bringing people back to life and all these miracle cures and, all of this stuff. Someone saying, as the pastor takes the corona out of your lungs, and, that photograph that was doing the rounds of the man that came back to life. But, the reality is, can we just be adults? I mean, let's just be responsible adults right now. We can't be policed all the time, and we need to open up slowly but surely. This needs to happen, but we got to be responsible. I mean, think, if you aren't well, don't go. If there are a lot of people there, I don't know how churches are going to, or places of worship, going to control this, but let's unfortunately keep to the reality that this is now life is going to be. It is how it's going to be, and we need to just be responsible. Let's just be adults about it.
Well, we hope and pray.
I hope so. I hope so.
All right, moving on to the next one. Hashtag George Floyd. Oh, what a disturbing story out of Minneapolis in the United States this morning. So the gentleman in that picture is now the late George Floyd, and he became the latest victim of police brutality in the United States. And a video, very disturbing video, doing the rounds, Leanne.
Sure.
And before you put up that video, let's just warn sensitive viewers, this really, if it's not of the actual incident, then that's all right, because the video of the actual incident is also on social media, Leanne, and it shows a police officer with his knee on George Floyd's neck and literally sitting on him as life seeps out. And that's the picture there on your left is the actual picture of the Minneapolis police officer. There, what you can't see is his actual knee on George Floyd's neck in that actual picture. And you can see he's so casual about it. His hand in his pocket. The bystanders who are videoing this are telling him his nose is bleeding. He's not responsive anymore. They are literally giving a blow-by-blow account of how this man is dying right in front of their eyes. And these 4 police officers just standing there, and this one with his knee on the man's neck until he dies.
Yeah, I mean, that picture that you saw there, doing a comparison between Colin Kaepernick and this police officer who has yet to be named, but his photo's all over the place. That was at the moment where Colin kneeled for the national anthem, and he was obviously getting into major trouble for that, and we know the story behind that one.
Yeah.
But the police officer doing the same thing there. But the development of this story is all I can say is that these 4 police officers that are in the video, they've all been fired. As we were talking about it earlier, I mean, I do hope that they put up for murder, because that was cold-blooded murder. Because apparently the story doing the rounds is that there was obviously George Floyd had gone into a shop to try and play with a check, which was apparently illegal. It was later discovered that the story is not even true, and there is more to the story. So it had nothing to do with that. And this is the reality. This man has lost his life, and people are now calling for justice.
Yeah.
These are visuals from Minnesota, and is it Minneapolis or Minnesota?
It's Minneapolis. It's a couple of hours ago, these protests, Leanne.
This is it.
And the videos also showed he did not even resist arrest.
No, he couldn't. I mean, you could see where he put his knee. I mean, you literally chopping off the arteries to your brain. I mean, that was it. I mean, that was cold-blooded murder that we witnessed there. It's devastating, but this story is really gaining momentum. And what's happening currently? Not currently. These were visuals a bit earlier, but it's still, when you look into this trending topic, you'll see what's going on. It's
indeed,
it's devastating,
and it's brought back the whole Black Lives Matter hashtag as well.
Yeah.
So that is, if you didn't know, that's the George Floyd hashtag.
Indeed.
And finally, day 62 of the lockdown. And that's, of course, where we are just over 2 months in.
It is. Level 4 is where we currently find ourselves in. We're moving to level 3 on Monday, and that's the 1st of June. About 8 million people are going to be going back and doing their thing, entering back into the work system, and that's when the reality is going to really hit us. We're seeing the numbers moving already, so just take care out there, really. Just use every precaution that you can to safeguard yourself and those around you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Common sense.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's try it.
News headlines. Let's get those from you. It's now 6:30.